In the year 2054, amidst the towering structures of New Angeles, Jacob Stanton found his ordinary human life turned on its head. It was just a regular Thursday afternoon when he received the news that would forever alter his destiny. The message came in the form of a holographic will, beamed directly into his cramped apartment, where the walls were plastered with old rock band posters and remnants of his failed attempts at art. "You have been chosen," the voice of his old friend Zelnari, an alien from the distant star system of Gliza, echoed in the dim room. Jacob and Zelnari had met during one of the humans' exploratory missions to the outer colonies. Their friendship had been immediate and profound, bonded by late-night conversations about the universe and life's peculiar quirks. Jacob listened in disbelief as the hologram explained that Zelnari had passed away unexpectedly due to a rare illness that plagued his species but was unheard of in humans. As his closest human friend, Jacob was named the sole beneficiary of Zelnari's considerable assets, which included an extensive estate on the lush, exotic planet of Zalara, a fleet of interstellar crafts, and most shockingly, the guardianship of Zelnari's widow Liriana, a beautiful and enigmatic alien with shimmering skin and eyes that mirrored the nebulae. To the meeting. 3 days later, Jacob's life had been packed into 2 suitcases, and he found himself boarding one of Zelnari's ships bound for Zalara. The journey through the cosmos was surreal, with stars streaking past the viewports like splashes of paint on cosmic canvas. Upon his arrival, he was greeted by the sight of Zalara's vibrant ecosystems, where bioluminescent trees lit up the landscape and creatures of various forms and sizes thrived. Liriana was waiting for him at the estate, her figure poised and graceful against the backdrop of her homeworld's breathtaking vistas. The initial meeting was awkward. Liriana, with her calm and measured demeanor, seemed to size him up with a gaze that held centuries of wisdom. Her voice, when she spoke, was melodious yet somber. "Jacob, I am aware that this arrangement might seem unusual to you. In our culture, such connections are seen as a continuum of the bond formed in a life shared," she explained, her hands clasped together in front of her flowing robes. Jacob, still reeling from the shock of inheriting not just wealth, but a responsibility towards someone he had never met, nodded. He was a man of Earth, used to contracts and clear terms, not cosmic bonds and inherited relationships. The challenge. Over the following weeks, Jacob learned to navigate his new life with the help of Liriana, who proved to be an invaluable guide to the customs and complexities of Zalara. He was fascinated by her stories of the galaxy, her insights into the delicate balance of interstellar politics, and the subtle art of managing a planet-spanning estate. However, as they spent time together, it became clear that there were forces that disapproved of a human inheriting such a significant alien legacy. Mysterious incidents began to occur, sabotaged equipment, cryptic threats delivered through their communication devices, and a palpable tension whenever they ventured into populated areas. Liriana's demeanor shifted with these developments, becoming more protective and assertive. "There are those who see your inheritance as an affront to our traditions," she confided one evening as they watched the twin suns set. "But we must stand firm. You are the chosen heir, and together we must uphold Zelnari's wishes." Jacob felt the weight of his responsibility heavier than ever, not just to manage an alien estate, but to honor the memory of his friend, and to protect Liriana, who was now his charge and partner in this strange new world. As the first chapter of Jacob's new life closed, he was determined to face whatever challenges came his way, standing beside Liriana under the alien skies of Zalara, ready to forge a path through the galaxy that neither of them could have anticipated. The days on Zalara melded into one another as Jacob immersed himself in his new roles. The management of the estate required him to learn the alien technology that was as intuitive as it was advanced, operating on principles of quantum entanglement and bio-neural interfaces. His early frustrations gave way to a sense of accomplishment as he began to master these systems, aided by Liriana's patient instruction. The bond deepens. Amidst the challenges, an unexpected camaraderie blossomed between Jacob and Liriana. As they worked together to secure the estate and navigate the complex social landscape of Zalara, Their initial awkwardness transformed into a mutual respect. Liriana's depth of knowledge about her world was matched by her curiosity about Earth and its cultures, leading to long evenings filled with exchange of tales and myths from their respective worlds. One evening, as the sky above them swirled with vibrant colors from the setting suns, Liriana shared a personal memory. Zelnari loved this view. He believed that the heavens' dance of lights was the universe's way of communicating its beauty, she said, her voice tinged with a rare vulnerability. Jacob listened, realizing how much of her heart was still tethered to her late husband, yet he also felt their growing bond, a new weave in the fabric of their shared experiences. The plot thickens. Their growing closeness did not go unnoticed. The local governing council, composed of various alien species, summoned Jacob to a meeting. The room was circular, with each council member's hologram flickering like an ancient candle. "We acknowledge your inheritance, but we must consider the balance of our societies," intoned a council elder, his voice echoing in the chamber. "Your presence, a human in a lineage of Zalarian custodians, is unprecedented." Jacob stood firm, Liriana at his side. "I'm here to honor Zelnari's legacy and to ensure that his wishes are respected," he declared, his voice carrying the weight of his resolve. The council deliberated in hushed tones, their alien dialects a symphony of chitters, growls, and melodious notes. The decision was a compromise. Jacob would be allowed to continue as the custodian of the estate, but he must prove his commitment to Zalara by undertaking the Rite of the Falling Stars, a traditional and perilous pilgrimage that involved a journey to the sacred sites of Zalara. Failure could mean his expulsion from the planet. A new challenge. Back at the estate, Jacob and Liriana prepared for the pilgrimage. Liriana trained Jacob in the ancient arts of Zalarian survival skills, teaching him how to harness the planet's bioenergetic fields for sustenance and protection. As they delved deeper into the preparations, Jacob's admiration for Liriana grew. She was not just a guardian of traditions, but a warrior capable of inspiring both fear and loyalty. The night before they were to depart, Jacob found himself looking up at the stars, now familiar constellations in the Zalarian sky. The weight of his task lay heavy on his shoulders, yet there was a thrill in the challenge, a fire kindled by the promise of proving his worth not just to the council but to himself and the memory of his friend. As dawn broke, Jacob and Liriana set out, stepping into the wilds of Zalara with a quiet determination. The pilgrimage would test them in ways neither could foresee, threading their lives together through shared trials and the mysteries of a world that was as deadly as it was beautiful. Under the twin suns of Zalara, the landscape unfolded into a tapestry of exotic flora and fauna, each more astonishing than the last. The first sight of their pilgrimage was the Crystal Forest, where trees made entirely of translucent, shimmering material stood tall, casting prismatic shadows on the ground. As they ventured deeper, the forest's serene beauty belied the dangers hidden within its depths. Creatures with skins that mirrored the environment posed nearly invisible threats, and Jacob had to rely heavily on Liriana's expertise to navigate through safely. The Test of the Whispers. At the heart of the Crystal Forest lay the Grove of Whispers, a sacred area where the wind carried voices from the past. It was said that the grove could reveal truths hidden deep within one's soul. Here, Jacob experienced his first real test. As the whispers swirled around him, he heard Zelnari's voice, urging him to find strength in his heritage and his choices. The voices became a cacophony, each one clawing at his resolve, testing his dedication to his new life and his new ally. Liriana watched as Jacob struggled, her face a mask of concern and hope. When he finally stepped out of the grove, his eyes were clear, his determination renewed. He had understood that these voices, though unsettling, were part of the pilgrimage's challenge, to confront and reconcile with one's past. Crossing the luminous expanse. Next, they crossed the luminous expanse, a vast desert with sands that glowed under the night sky, powered by bioluminescent bacteria. Traveling by night to avoid the scorching heat of the suns, they faced physical exhaustion and the mental strain of constant vigilance. The desert was alive, and its beauty was a facade for the peril it presented. During one chilling night, a sandstorm swept across the expanse, and they took shelter under a rock outcrop. Huddled together, Jacob felt a new sense of closeness to Liriana, not just as a guide or a companion in obligations, but as a beacon of strength and a source of comfort. The Peaks of Echoes. Their final destination was the Peaks of Echoes, towering mountains that reached into the clouds of Zalara's upper atmosphere. The climb was treacherous, the paths littered with loose stones and sharp crags. As they ascended, the air thinned, and Jacob found himself relying on Liriana not just for guidance, but for the very air he breathed, through shared respiratory aids designed for high altitudes. At the summit, they reached the Altar of Unity, a place where it was traditional for pilgrims to leave a token of their journey. Jacob placed a small engraved stone he had carried from Earth, symbolizing his journey not just across space, but through the depths of personal change. As they descended from the peak, the sun setting behind them cast long shadows across the landscape. Jacob realized that this pilgrimage was not just a proving ground for his place on Zalara, but a profound journey into the heart of his new life with Liriana. Each step had bound him more tightly into the fabric of this world and its people, forging bonds that went beyond the physical inheritance from his friend. As they made their way back to the estate, ready to face whatever the council might decide, Jacob knew that whatever the outcome, his place was here, on Zalara, with Liriana by his side. Upon their return to the governing council's chambers, the air was thick with anticipation. The council members, representing various species of the Zalarian Alliance, scrutinized Jacob and Liriana as they entered. The results of the pilgrimage would determine much more than Jacob's suitability. They symbolized the potential for deeper human-alien alliances, a prospect both exciting and unsettling to the established order. The elder council member, whose form shimmered with a metallic sheen reflective of his aquatic origins, began the proceedings. "We have observed your progress and deliberated on your experiences," he intoned. "Your completion of the Rite of the Falling Stars has been verified, and your efforts recognized." Another member, her voice a melodious contrast to her imposing insectoid appearance, added, "However, your ability to integrate and contribute to Zalara extends beyond mere trials. We must consider the long-term implications of your stewardship." A new proposal. Liriana stepped forward, her voice steady. "Esteemed Council, Jacob has shown not only courage but a genuine commitment to understanding and respecting our ways. His presence has already started bridging gaps between our worlds. I propose an initiative under his leadership to expand interstellar exchanges and cultural understanding." The proposal sparked whispers among the council. The idea of an interstellar cultural exchange was ambitious, potentially setting a precedent for other human-alien relations. Jacob felt every gaze upon him, measuring his reaction, gauging his resolve. Implementation of the cultural exchange. With the council's cautious endorsement, Jacob and Liriana initiated the first interstellar cultural exchange program. They invited scholars, artists, and scientists from Earth to Zalara, facilitating workshops and symposiums. Likewise, Zalarian delegations visited Earth, their arrivals covered widely in the media, sparking a global fascination with alien cultures and their advanced technologies. Jacob found himself at the heart of these exchanges, often mediating misunderstandings and bridging cultural gaps. His unique position as a human deeply embedded in alien society allowed him to translate not just languages, but contexts and nuances. Unforeseen challenges. Despite the program's initial success, not all were pleased with the rapid integration. Discontent brewed among factions on both Zalara and Earth. On Zalara, traditionalists viewed the rapid sharing of their technology and culture with suspicion, fearing dilution of their heritage. On Earth, xenophobic groups rallied against what they perceived as undue alien influence over human affairs. Incidents of sabotage and protests began to disrupt the exchanges. A Zalarian art exhibit on Earth was vandalized, and a human scientific delegation on Zalara faced hostile demonstrations. Jacob and Liriana found themselves navigating not only diplomatic waters, but also security concerns, deepening bonds amidst turmoil. As they countered these challenges, the bond between Jacob and Liriana deepened. United by a common goal, their partnership evolved into a profound connection, grounded in mutual respect and shared aspirations. In quiet moments away from their responsibilities, they shared personal dreams and fears, finding solace in each other's company amidst the turmoil. One evening, as they walked through the bioluminescent gardens of the estate, Liriana paused. "What we are building here, it's more than just a partnership, Jacob," she said softly. "It's a testament to what can be achieved when beings from different worlds truly connect." Jacob looked at her, the alien beauty of the garden reflecting in her eyes, and realized that their relationship had grown into something uniquely powerful. They were no longer just allies, but partners in the fullest sense, navigating the complexities of their roles with a deep, unspoken understanding that what they had was rare and precious. As they prepared to address the latest diplomatic challenge, Jacob felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path was fraught with difficulties, but it was clear. Their shared vision for a united future was the guiding star they would follow, no matter the obstacles ahead. The cultural exchange program, while initially a beacon of interspecies collaboration, had sown seeds of discontent that were now sprouting into open conflict. Reports of increasingly violent protests began to overshadow the success stories. Jacob, once merely a steward of Zelnari's legacy, found himself portrayed as a figurehead for Earth's overreach into alien domains. This role placed him and Liriana at the epicenter of a galactic debate over the bounds of cultural assimilation and sovereignty, a critical summit. In response to the escalating tensions, Jacob and Liriana convened a summit on Zalara, inviting leaders from both human and alien factions. The conference hall, a massive dome with views of Zalara's twin suns setting beyond the horizon, filled with a mix of species, each representative bringing their own guards and advisors. The air was charged with a mix of hope and underlying suspicion. As Jacob addressed the assembly, his voice echoed through the chamber. "We stand at a crossroads," he began. "One path leads to segregation and suspicion, the other to understanding and unity. Let us choose wisely, for the repercussions will echo through generations." The unseen threat. Unknown to the summit attendees, a radical faction opposed to human involvement in alien affairs had planned to sabotage the event. Their goal was to fracture the fragile progress and reinforce the fear that humans were the harbingers of chaos. As the discussions unfolded, Liriana received a discreet transmission alerting her to the imminent threat. With no time to spare, she signaled to Jacob, who subtly informed the security teams. The conference was put on high alert, with all entry and exit points secured, and participants unknowingly shielded from a potential disaster, thwarting sabotage. The would-be saboteurs, cloaked in stealth technology, attempted to infiltrate the main hall. However, their efforts were thwarted by the combined security protocols that Jacob and Liriana had implemented. Captured before they could enact their plan, the conspirators were detained, and their motives were laid bare before the summit. This crisis turned into an unexpected opportunity. The exposure of the plot underscored the stakes involved and galvanized the summit's attendees. Discussions that had been marked by caution and skepticism gave way to a more urgent dialogue about the necessity of cooperation for mutual survival and prosperity. Building bridges. In the aftermath of the foiled attack, Jacob and Liriana worked tirelessly to rebuild trust. They organized smaller, more personal meetings between leaders, facilitating environments where fears and hopes could be openly expressed and addressed. These sessions often lasted long into the night, with Jacob and Liriana mediating difficult conversations and finding common ground among diverse groups. One significant outcome was the establishment of a multi-species council, with representatives from both human and alien communities. This body was tasked with overseeing the cultural exchange program, ensuring that it respected the sovereignty and cultural integrity of all involved species, while promoting shared goals. Personal reflections. In the quiet moments after the summit, Jacob reflected on the path he had walked since inheriting Zelnari's legacy. The weight of his responsibilities had grown, but so had his capability to influence positive change. Beside him, Liriana remained a constant, her wisdom and strength a source of inspiration and balance. Together, they looked out over the lights of Zalara's capital, which glimmered beneath the night sky. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges yet to be faced. But they stood ready, fortified by their experiences and the trust they had built, not just with each other, but with the worlds they sought to unite. In the months following the summit, Jacob and Liriana watched as the seeds of their labor began to sprout. The newly formed multi-species council was making strides, creating policies that balanced growth with respect for all cultural identities. However, the landscape of interstellar relations remained fraught with unpredictability, and the peace they had brokered was delicate. The celebration of unity. To commemorate the one-year anniversary of the cultural exchange program's inception, a grand celebration was planned on Zalara. It was to be held in the Harmony Gardens, a symbolically chosen venue renowned for its collection of flora from across the galaxy, representing the beauty of diversity. The event was designed not only as a celebration, but also as a testament to the possible unity among disparate species. As the preparations unfolded, Jacob and Liriana were at the forefront, ensuring that every detail reflected the spirit of inclusivity and cooperation. The gardens were adorned with lights and banners, each streamer carrying messages of peace in countless languages and scripts. An unexpected declaration. During the celebration, with the galaxy watching, a surprising announcement was made. A coalition of planets, inspired by the success of the Zalara model, declared their intention to form an interstellar alliance focusing on peaceful coexistence and mutual economic support. The announcement was met with applause and hopeful cheers from the crowd, but also with cautious whispers from corners resistant to change. Jacob took the stage, Liriana by his side, and addressed the assembly. "Today we stand on the precipice of a new era," he declared, his voice resonant with emotion. "An era where we choose to reach across the void not to conquer but to connect, not to fear but to understand." The shadows of doubt. Despite the public celebrations, private concerns simmered among various factions. The commitment to a broader alliance brought with it a fear of dilution of power and identity. Jacob and Liriana spent hours in strategy sessions, discussing how to strengthen the alliance while honoring the sovereignty of its members. They worked with diplomats and leaders, sometimes mediating heated debates and soothing historical grievances. A personal crossroads. Amidst his responsibilities, Jacob found himself at a personal crossroads. His life on Earth seemed like a distant memory, his future irrevocably tied to the stars. One evening, as they walked through the bioluminescent pathways of the Harmony Gardens, Liriana turned to him with a gentle question. "Do you ever regret your choice to embrace this life, Jacob?" After a moment of reflection, Jacob smiled softly. "Regret is too strong a word. I miss home, but I found a purpose here that's bigger than anything I had imagined. And I've found you." Liriana's response was a quiet nod, her expression unreadable beneath the starlight. But her hand found his, a simple gesture laden with shared understanding and unspoken commitment. Looking to the future. As the celebration drew to a close, the night sky of Zalara lit up with fireworks, each explosion a burst of color that mirrored the diversity of the galaxy's inhabitants. Jacob and Liriana stood together watching the sky, their thoughts on the challenges ahead. Their journey had taught them that peace was not a static achievement, but a dynamic process, requiring constant effort and vigilance. The path forward would be filled with obstacles, but they faced them as a united front, their partnership a microcosm of the hopeful alliance they envisioned for the galaxy. As the final firework faded into the darkness, they turned away from the spectacle, ready to face whatever the future held, with the knowledge that together they could weather any storm.